China's Trans-Andes Railway, a $100 billion bet on Latin America. The Bi-Oceanic Railway, also known as the Trans-Andes Railway, is one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in modern Latin American history. Envisioned as a steel artery linking Brazil's Atlantic seaboard to Peru's Pacific ports, this proposed transcontinental rail line would snake across some of the world's most unforgiving terrain, including the dense Amazon rainforest and the soaring Andes Mountains. Depending on its final trajectory, the railway could stretch anywhere between 3,000 and 4,900 kilometers long. More than just a railway, this endeavor is a bold statement of intent to redefine South America's economic geography and circumvent the maritime bottleneck of the Panama Canal. At its core, the railway is designed to carry bulk goods, Brazilian soybeans, Bolivian minerals and Chinese electronics across the continent faster and more efficiently than ever before. By offering a direct land route from Brazil's Atlantic ports to Peru's Pacific harbors, it would carve days, even weeks, off traditional shipping routes that currently loop north through the Panama Canal. According to reports from Railway Technology and Rail Journal, this is not merely a logistical upgrade, but a strategic reimagining of South America's role in global trade. For China, Latin America's biggest trading partner, the Bi-Oceanic Railway represents a vital logistics link in its broader vision of a global trade network less dependent on Western-dominated choke points. Welcome to the Global Insight. The Bi-Oceanic Railway is not the vision of a single nation, but a bold cooperative venture that unites diverse interests across continents. Brazil and Peru stand at the forefront, each envisioning economic revitalization through streamlined access to distant markets. Bolivia and Paraguay, landlocked and long underserved by continental infrastructure, have enthusiastically thrown their support behind the project, seeing in it a long-awaited opportunity to overcome their geographic isolation. This cross-national collaboration is driven by shared hopes of accelerated development, greater trade efficiency, and stronger regional integration. But it is China that serves as the keystone of this grand design. With its state-owned enterprises and government-backed financial firepower, Beijing has emerged as the project's most critical enabler. According to reports from Reuters and the Global Construction Review, Chinese authorities have not only offered significant investment capital, but have also positioned their companies to deliver the complex engineering and logistical expertise required to bring such a project to life. The railway aligns neatly with China's broader Belt and Road ambitions, subtly weaving South America into a new web of global connectivity that pivots away from traditional Western influence. Meanwhile, regional development banks like CAF and the Inter-American Development Bank have expressed interest in supporting the project, hinting at a multilateral financing framework that could help dilute both the risk and the perception of overdependence on China. The dream of a transcontinental railway slicing through South America is not new. It's flickered in the imaginations of planners and politicians for decades. But for years, the vision remained little more than a tantalizing sketch hindered by political instability, financial constraints, and the sheer scale of the endeavor. That all changed in 2025. A major inflection point arrived on May 26th of that year when Peru's finance ministry hosted a high-level trilateral meeting with Chinese and Brazilian officials. This wasn't just another diplomatic formality, it was a decisive move that elevated the project from speculative chatter to serious strategy. According to a Reuters report, the meeting marked a watershed moment. Not only did it underscore growing alignment between the key players, but it also revealed that political will and financial readiness were beginning to coalesce. Beijing's commitment was reaffirmed, Brazil's enthusiasm was palpable, and Peru's leadership signaled it was ready to serve as a logistical and geographic linchpin. This strategic summit catalyzed a new era of momentum, one where technical planning, feasibility studies, and political frameworks began to take tangible shape. The long-dormant dream was waking up, and it was doing so with formidable international backing. While the vision of a transcontinental rail artery is increasingly clear, its precise route remains a matter of intense negotiation and technical scrutiny. Planners are currently weighing several alignment options, each with its own geopolitical calculus and environmental cost. A leading contender would see the railway originate deep within Brazil's agricultural interior, in states like Goiás, Mato Grosso, and Rondônia, regions that form the powerhouse of the nation's soybean and grain exports. From there, the line would carve westward across the continent, pushing through either Bolivia or southern Peru before reaching a Pacific port, with Ilo and Chancay emerging as strong terminal candidates. This path is far from simple. It would force engineers to confront some of the planet's most formidable obstacles: the soaring Andes Mountains, with altitudes nearly 4,000 meters, the impenetrable canopy of the Amazon rainforest, and territories inhabited by dozens of indigenous communities whose livelihoods and lands are at risk. According to coverage in Rail Journal and Climate Diplomacy, each routing decision carries weighty political implications and technical burdens. Every kilometre of track laid is a compromise between cost, accessibility, and impact. As Chinese delegations and South American planners study topographies and logistics, as reported by Air News, the railway is fast becoming a multi-dimensional puzzle of terrain, politics, and diplomacy. And yet, it's precisely in solving this puzzle that the region may forge a new path forward. The rationale behind the Bioceanic Railway extends well beyond economic pragmatism. It's a calculated geopolitical maneuver that could dramatically alter the balance of trade and influence in the Americas. For China, the strategic allure is unmistakable. By carving a direct land corridor across South America, Beijing gains a powerful alternative to the US-controlled Panama Canal, a waterway it has long viewed as a potential choke point in times of political friction. As reported by Newsroom Panama, this railway would give China faster, more autonomous access to critical resources like soybeans, iron ore, and lithium, commodities essential to its industrial engine and green technology ambitions. It's a logistical coup wrapped in geopolitical foresight. But the benefits extend far beyond Beijing. For Brazil and its South American partners, the railway could be a game changer. By slicing up to 20 days off freight transit to Asian markets and slashing shipping costs by as much as $30 per ton, the corridor stands to significantly enhance the region's export competitiveness. According to an analysis by Climate Diplomacy, the ripple effects could be transformative, especially for landlocked nations like Bolivia, which would finally gain reliable access to maritime trade. The Global Construction Review notes that such a shift could ignite a broader wave of infrastructure investment and industrialization across the continent, injecting fresh energy into economies that have too often been marginalized by geography. In essence, the railway is not just about moving goods, it's about shifting futures. Constructing the Bioceanic Railway is nothing short of a Herculean task, technically daunting, financially staggering, and geopolitically sensitive. Spanning up to 4,900 kilometers, the railway must weave together disparate national networks, conquer the Andes Mountains, and traverse the ecologically fragile Amazon basin. Engineers are grappling with the challenge of designing a line that can operate at high capacity for both freight and passenger services, all while adhering to stringent technical specifications. This includes accommodating sharp altitude changes, some routes climb to nearly 4,000 meters, and negotiating engineering standards such as a 250-meter minimum curve radii and slopes not exceeding 2.5%. As noted by Revista e Transporte and Railway Technology, one of the more complex technical puzzles is reconciling Brazil's broad gauge rail with Peru's standard gauge system, requiring either dual gauge tracks or major retrofitting to ensure seamless interoperability. The financial scale of the project is equally intimidating. Estimates vary widely based on the final route and scope. A more conservative corridor could cost between $10 and $15 billion, but a full transcontinental alignment could balloon to nearly $100 billion. According to analysis from Eurasia Review, the latest projections place total investment needs closer to $80 billion, a burden that will fall largely on Brazil and Peru. Although Bolivia's track modernization alone could demand $7 to $10 billion according to Mafex magazine. Funding sources include a mix of Chinese investment, multilateral development banks like CAF, which have already begun financing feasibility studies, and potential European partners. A recent report by CAF confirms its commitment to supporting Bolivia with technical assistance aimed at strengthening regional logistics connectivity. Yet even with financing and engineering know-how, the railway faces formidable obstacles. The Panama Canal, its primary competitor, continues to process over 7 million TEUs annually with unmatched efficiency. Internally, disputes over route alignment, such as whether to cross the Andes at higher or lower elevations, could escalate costs by over $6 billion and significantly delay the timeline. Environmental and social implications loom large. As reported by Climate Diplomacy and China Global South, the railway's trajectory threatens to cut through sensitive stretches of the Amazon and lands belonging to indigenous communities. Mitigating these impacts requires not only sophisticated environmental planning, but genuine political will, without which the railway could become a symbol of disruption rather than progress. In short, building the Bioceanic Railway isn't just a test of steel and stone, it's a test of diplomacy, governance and sustainability. Should the Bioceanic Railway reach its completion, it won't merely redefine South American logistics, it could reshape the geopolitical architecture of the Western Hemisphere. The railway represents far more than a regional infrastructure upgrade. It's a strategic fulcrum around which power dynamics could tilt. For China, the corridor offers a beachhead in Latin America, expanding its Belt and Road ambitions into a continent historically dominated by US influence. With Beijing's growing investment in ports, roads and energy across the region, this railway could serve as the connective tissue that integrates those scattered assets into a coherent, cross-continental trade network. As the United States faces increasing resistance to its traditional hegemony, the Bioceanic Railway could emerge as a concrete symbol of multipolarity in action. But the implications go beyond international chess games. For South America, the potential for economic revitalization is immense. Landlocked countries like Bolivia could finally tap into global markets with reduced costs and increased competitiveness. Remote areas that have long remained marginalized economically and politically could be drawn into the continental mainstream, fostering local development and infrastructure spillovers. Yet this potential comes with serious caveats. As climate diplomacy and other analysts have warned, the environmental and social stakes are dangerously high. Without rigorous safeguards and transparent governance, the railway could exacerbate deforestation, fuel illegal land grabs, and intensify conflicts with indigenous communities. The line between transformation and exploitation is perilously thin, and only time will reveal which side this colossal project ultimately falls on. The Bioceanic Railway is not merely a mega project, it's a $100 billion wager on a new world order. It aims to redefine how goods move, how power is distributed, and how countries in Latin America engage with the global economy. For its champions, it represents opportunity, faster imports, regional integration, and a long overdue infrastructural leap forward. For its critics, it symbolizes risk, environmental degradation, social disruption, and the deepening of dependency on foreign capital. What's undeniable is its scale and ambition. This is a venture that could alter trade routes, empower forgotten regions, and reshape hemispheric influence for generations to come. That's it from the team at the Global Insight for now. We want to hear what you think. Would you support the construction of the Bioceanic Railway, or do you believe that the Panama Canal still holds the strategic upper hand? And how does this project affect communities in South America, particularly the indigenous groups and remote regions? And what do you think that China's growing role in Latin America means for the future of global geopolitics? And as always, please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here at the Global Insight. And until next time, stay tuned.